and welcome to what I'm sure is the very hotly awaited follow-up to the last installment of Ben's Junk. Insert rim shot here. Anyway, last time we discussed my multi-system VHS unit, and we're staying on the VHS boat for this one. So this time we're taking a look at my S-VHS or Super VHS unit. And this is kind of the poster boy of just how permanent the state of flux is with my setup, it seems. And when I did Tour of the Archive just 6 or 7 months ago, I was still using the same VCR that I'd been using since the late 90s. And it got the job done, but when you're dealing with really cheap public domain tapes, worn out stuff, kind of a lot of the stuff that I deal with for the archive, you'd be getting the blue screen a good bit, and so that proved to be kind of problematic. And a month or two after I made that episode, I found a much, much lower-end S-VHS unit at a local thrift store, and I think I paid $5 for it or something. And it had S-Video out, and that was pretty much it, but it seemed to help with the playback a bit when dealing with this stuff. And so another month or two later, imagine my surprise, I wasn't even looking, I find this sucker, and this is a prosumer unit. This is about as high-end as a consumer model gets. And it's got all the toys. It doesn't just have S-Video out, it goes in, so I can record 2 S-VHS, and you'll see an example of what I came up with a little later. And there's another input on the back end, of course, an output. And there's also, you can do everything through RCA or coaxial if you so choose. And you can turn the SVHS function on and off. And if you stick a standard VHS tape in here just for watching, it'll shut itself off. And then it has, perhaps more importantly than that, a time-based corrector, a built-in time-based corrector, which has really helped out quite a bit lately. Now, the camcorder that I use when I'm capturing footage for archive, not the one filming this, that one has one built in too, but it's dodgy. And this one seems to be a bit more stable. So it's really helped latch onto the signal of the cheaper tapes that I tend to do for archive. And then with regards to the multi-system deck, when I run it through here, it seems to really help the color issues that it was having otherwise. So that's been really nice. It doesn't entirely alleviate the sync issues, but I've been mostly able to work through it. Thankfully, they're just very slight sync issues. But it's got pretty much everything I personally could want on a VCR. It has multi-speed rewind and fast forward, so you can go a third speed, half speed, standard 100% backwards, double, on up through 7 times speed either direction. And you can go still frame either direction. And so that's really nice. And I can dig in via the menu and the setup in here to turn stuff on and off if it's screwing things up, if it's not, one of my toys is not helping out here. So let me grab a tape, and I will show you some actual footage later. This is a standard VHS, so that's going to go away. And it'll start automatically. It's a little slow, but, nature of the beast, there it goes. And I can, turn the time-based corrector on and off at will. And I can fast forward at a third, half, single speed, double speed, on up through 7 times speed. And I can go good and hard the other direction, so to speak. You can see it kind of gaining momentum in either direction. And then still frame, you just play with the jog wheel to get it going. And if you crank it around, you can see it eventually working its way up. It takes a little while in either direction. And then set in reverse. So, like I said, this has been really helpful. Now, it does have one very scary quirk, and what it does is after about 10 minutes it goes into a standby mode, and it doesn't come out of it so easy, and there winds up being a slack issue. So you pull a tape out and you'll wind up with this excess of tape out that you have to wind back up, and of course you don't want that. It crinkles the tape. It's not nice. So I've learned that when I use this, I have to make sure that I'm ready to go right away. So I turn it on, I pop the tape in, and I start recording. And as soon as I'm done, I take it back out. And if something goes wrong or if I get distracted, I just have to remember to take the damn thing out so it doesn't have that 10 minutes go by. But aside from that, it gets the job done very, very well. And I have opened this and I have examined it in terms of that setup, and it just seems to forget what it's doing. So that's really the best way I can describe it. It'll let itself go a bit when it goes into standby mode, and it just doesn't do a very good job coming out of it. And I don't really have the electrical experience to really see if I can fix that, but like I said, when the workaround is so simple that you just don't let it sit for more than 10 minutes idle, it's kind of a non-issue. But anyway, I'm going to leave you here with some samples of what I've gotten out of this unit, and I'll see you again soon. Well, that's it for today's archive. Join us next time when I unleash a serious pop quiz on your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE. Well, I guess it's not much of a pop quiz now, is it? Damn. See you next time. Well, that's it for today's archive. Join us next time when I unleash a serious pop quiz on your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE. Well, I guess it's not much of a pop quiz now, is it? Damn. See you next time. EI8 and SMPTE. Well, I guess it's not. Well, that's it for today's archive. Join us on your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE. Is it? Damn. See you next time. Your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE. Well, I guess it's not much of a pop quiz now. Well, that's it for today's archive. Join us on your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE.